Here's our top story on 10/11 News at 10. Good evening, I'm Brandi B. Harris.
And good evening, I'm Brandi B. Harris.
I'm Brandi B. Harris.
I'm Brandi B. Harris. Shelby, Lincoln police tell me 7 people were involved in this accident, including 1 person who died at the scene. Now, as you can see, 4 of the 5 vehicles involved are still here. Bill, Bridget, the city's schedule is packed with events from now to the end of the summer, including the 3,000 students here for the Thespian Festival. And they expect these events to bring in millions of dollars in spending to the local economy. Lincoln police train for weeks, learning how to work in high-stress environments and making critical decisions in critical moments. For most Nebraskans, it's a familiar sight, but detasseling and triple-digit heat index comes with plenty of safety precautions. With more than 8,000 people already signed up for memberships, Costco here in Lincoln is putting on the final touches to get ready for their big day. Open Harvest Co-op Grocery is trying to get the city to amend an ordinance that's preventing them from being able to sell liquor. But according to the city's planning commission, that means the ordinance is working exactly how it was designed. Bill Moose is the new athletic director for the University of Nebraska. In less than a month since former AD Sean Eichhorst was let go, Moose will be taking charge of Husker athletics. Chancellor Ronnie Green says finding a good fit at Nebraska is likely more important than at other schools, and he says Bill Moose is that good fit. Following the big announcement, many people are asking, who is Bill Moose? And here's what we know about the new athletic director. He spent the last 7 years as the AD at Washington State, where he was big at raising money, like increasing the amount of donations to the school's athletic fund by more than 80%. During that same time, he also served as the dean of Pac-12 athletic directors. In that position, he was able to secure a $3 billion television contract for the conference. Before that, he led the University of Oregon's athletics for 12 years, growing the department not only financially, but also turning the Ducks into an NCAA powerhouse with 13 Pac-10 championships in 6 different sports during his tenure.
Virginia's governor has declared a state of emergency in response to a white nationalist rally in Charlottesville. Fighting has broken out between protesters and counter-protesters, prompting the president to step in and denounce the violence.
We condemn in the strongest possible terms this egregious display of hatred, bigotry, and violence on many sides.
Nearly 2 months after a natural gas explosion, the property where the Jasa's home used to be is still in pieces. Jenny Jasa died 6 weeks ago, and Jim Jasa is still hospitalized. Fire inspectors determined the home exploded after an internal natural gas leak back on August 14th. Neighbors say they've reached out to local authorities asking for the area to be cleaned up. One woman says she wants her neighborhood back to normal so they can move on and heal.
For many of the neighbors, it's really difficult, especially as you're driving by.
The University of Nebraska Board of Regents is set to consider a contract extension for System President Hank Bounds. Bounds' current contract runs through the end of June 2020, but Regents will consider extending another year. The extension would not offer a pay raise for Bounds, whose state salary is a little more than $510,000, plus a privately funded $20,000 supplemental salary. With hundreds of thousands of people just beginning the recovery process, President Trump took time to visit both Texas and Louisiana in the aftermath of Hurricane Harvey. After touching down on Air Force One, President Trump's first stop was NRG Stadium, home of Houston Texans, and now home for as many as 2,000 Hurricane Harvey evacuees. The president spoke with families in an area set up for children and posed for selfies. The president and first lady joined volunteers handing out meals, and he says more help will soon be on the way.
He has made good appointments. You and I disagree on some of those.
For a little over an hour, Senator Deb Fischer held a conversation with her Lincoln constituents, although sometimes her voice could barely be heard. For example, when she was asked about former Sheriff Joe Arpaio.
It is the president's constitutional right to be able to pardon whoever he would choose to pardon. It's in our Constitution.
No KKK, no fascist USA! No Nazi!
And that's how it ended. She couldn't finish her statement. But a handful of her supporters had her back on many issues.
I thought she had very thoughtful comments about health care. Some of the protesters are grinding out her efforts to try to bring forth a balanced perspective on health care reform.
From health care and infrastructure to President Trump, Senator Fisher says she represents all Nebraskans, no matter the political party.
President Trump carried the state with 60% of the vote.
Yeah!
So I think we also need to realize that there are different viewpoints that are out there. And those people, yes, I represent you all. I represent you all.
But some people couldn't disagree more.
Not with most of her responses, but I respect her in allowing her to share her views.
Today, 6 months after coming to America, Shireen Jurdo stands as a survivor, and the tattoo on her arm is a reminder of what she survived.
In Syria, I was electrocuted. In Mosul, they did an operation on my abdomen. I'm not sure what kind of an operation they did.
But Jurdo's story started in Iraq, where she and 27 members of her family were captured by ISIS back in 2014. She was held captive for 9 months. And as for her family, at least 20 of them are still unaccounted for.
I still don't know what has happened to them. They're still missing. I don't know if they're still living. I'm hoping that the U.S. will do something to help us.
Back in 2007, Congress crafted legislation that grants special immigration status to Iraqis who worked as translators for the U.S. Army, which can only be applied to the immediate family of interpreters, not people like Shireen, who received refugee status and are seeking asylum.
These are people who are living in refugee camps. They're living in unfinished buildings. Their only hope was to come to the U.S.
According to Congressman Jeff Fortenberry, the interpreters earned citizenship here, and there are waivers for family members. But mass immigration would require more consideration. Shireen says the things she experienced have changed her whole world, but her continued fight is for her missing family.
Their missing has given me some strength to continue to do this kind of work, even though I am mentally and psychologically traumatized.
Stop, police!
In critical situations, police often have to make tough decisions in a matter of seconds.
There's no two scenarios exactly alike. So what we try and do is prepare them to make fast decisions under extreme amounts of stress.
Get out of here!
In their 22-week training, officers are put in simulated environments, practicing the timing, procedures, and decision-making of high-stress situations.
And we hope that it's just a fast reaction, that they don't really have to think through that much. But realistically, every person thinks through something like that differently.
With that training, officers were able to defuse a situation at Da Vinci's that could have ended badly, like it did in Cleveland, Ohio, when a 12-year-old boy playing with a toy gun was shot and killed by officers.
The reality is, in this set of circumstances, they did a great job showing restraint, but it certainly could have been the other way around.
There were 4 customers and several employees in the restaurant at the time. Police say they feared for their lives, but fortunately, officers resolved the situation without anyone, including the suspect, getting hurt.
So we try and get them to think through all those stuff very early on in their career, and then frequently during training, so that if they're put in a situation where their life is at risk or someone else's life is at risk, they can make that decision rapidly without thinking about all those other things.
This is Rosalie. She was just born on the 4th of July, and she's literally waited her whole life to meet her dad.
The difference is to actually holding her and feeling her nudge and make noises and to feel that she's actually breathing. It's all right there. It's all very real. It's a whole new experience rather than seeing it through a video.
It was an emotional day at Haymarket Park. This is Trent Shepard's first time seeing his dad after he was deployed more than 9 months ago.
We miss you. Everything keeps like rushing through my head. What am I going to say first? What am I going to do this? What am I going to do that?
Major Robert Shepard and around 90 other service people received a true hero's welcome.
the reception we got with everybody lined up along the bridge, and the fire department is just amazing, the support and the recognition you get from the city of Nebraska when you come back off deployment. So it's amazing.
And the spouses of these soldiers say it's the little things that they've missed the most.
The first time my phone rang and it said Rob S. on my cell phone because he didn't have cell service over there, I just broke out in tears, because just to have that communication again and know that he was here and that he was safe, it was the best feeling in the world.
Like warming up bottles and those small little things that
yeah, I'll put him through school.